Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Okay, so it's a photo. Somebody's photographing a kind of an office.
Mhm.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people working, but there's also a young boy holding up his hands in a red T-shirt.
Yeah.
He's got glasses, short hair, very sweet. I think that's you, right, at the desk, or maybe
Good
not. Maybe not. I can't
Good
tell.
guess. Actually, no, no, it's not
It's not you.
me.
Okay.
There is no me on this picture. I'm doing this picture. This picture is remarkable due to this is an excursion to animation studio.
Oh, nice.
To be honest, like maybe the first or the second year, we just were making the first steps as animation company, and the office was just barely this single room and this several people. And my friend, she's one of those women standing.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Oh, I have I have children, and they would so admire like excursion and trip to animation studio. It's like sounds like a magic." I say, "Hey, it's not like we are not Pixar, we are not like Disney. It's not like going to Disney World at all. It's just
It's
people
humble.
working." She said, "No matter, I just want to bring my children there, and they will be amazed whatever they see." I say, okay, just come. and, and we try
Nice.
to be as open, just as sharing as possible to like show the children how the cartoons are done.
Nice. Okay. Why don't you explain to the listener what kind of okay, Yuri is you're from the Ukraine, yeah?
Yeah, I'm totally from Ukraine. All my life I spent in Ukraine.
Okay, and you just moved to Miami 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. I run an animation studio in Ukraine, and the core team is based in Ukraine right now, and in Ukrainian cities and the countries around Ukraine. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. It's so on the podcast, I think it's fascinating that Ukrainians, like my connection with Ukrainians has always been around artistry and creativity. It's very strange. Okay, so let me run it by you for a second. First, I think I had one guy. Well, I had one guy on the podcast who made shishas, but then did he make shishas? And he also made costumes, right? So
Hmm.
he worked in Hong Kong making costumes.
Hmm.
Another one is a photographer.
Hmm.
And then when I went back to Canada for a trip to Toronto, and I met some guy who's also Ukrainian, and he also made shishas, which is very strange. And then I meet you, and you do computer animation. Now you don't know this about me, but in university, right? So when I was in my early 20s, for 3 or 4 years, I worked full time as a 2D computer animator.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah. So the 2D animation studio that you have. Okay, so why are we talking about this?
Well, so just a couple of words about following up this Ukrainian thing. Ukrainians really, I would say, shy people, but those who want to spread the word about Ukraine, they are mostly creative and open, and they try
Okay,
to be like noted by the world community, creating some good things. That what can I say?
interesting.
Um,
Okay,
well,
okay. So here's another interesting overlay. You did you flee from the Ukraine, or did you move from the Ukraine recently? Like in terms of because were you leaving as an immigrant from the war, or were you fleeing, or did you leave for different reasons?
that's a very, very like keen question, I would say. Actually, um, on the background, like most people now flee from Ukraine. So really flee
Mm.
from the war and from hard situation to live.
Yeah.
Me is not like a very typical case because I've been working with the United States clients like for years. I've been like learning language, watching films, like learning culture and everything from the United States. I was like fond of United States culture and mentality and so on. So I basically made my dream like moving here. Uh, I like Ukraine. I have like Ukrainian relatives and friends and community
Yeah,
and
it's your home.
studio and business, but still, I think that the United States is the place much to learn, where
Hmm.
you can like broaden your worldview, like your understanding of people, of the variety of people, of diversity of things, of technologies, and so
Hmm.
on. So for me, it was like a big goal to move here, and actually, this war gave the opportunity to do this. So I consider it more as opportunity.
Okay, interesting. Yuri, like, here's another interesting overlay, right? Right now, as we're recording this, it's weeks after what happened, in Israel with Hamas,
Yeah.
basically just completely turning the country upside down.
Yeah.
I was born in Israel.
Oh.
So there are a lot of people asking themselves, and I don't want that to overtake or overshadow our conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but just that, listen, we're talking as two human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. So when did you leave Ukraine? And and where did you live in Ukraine? Like, how far from?
I've been living in Kiev, in the capital of Ukraine.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, but
Wow.
just to like maybe wrap or just shape the thought about Israel. So you mean is there any parallels or what did you want to
No, no. Listen, I'm just saying that, like, No, 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 no. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that personally. Okay, personally, what you bring to the conversation is your life and experience,
say?
and I'm going to share
I
that.
see. So
But also personally, I'm coming
mhm,
as me, right?
yeah. The like essential thing about Israel and for Ukrainians is that Ukrainians like deeply understand Israel now
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
it's just the when you get into the very similar situation, you don't need any words because you feel how it happens. You just know this from inside. You don't need to describe whether it's like a bad, whether it's good, how is it safe. It's like very bad, very unsafe, and like the worst thing could be. So all
Yeah.
other problems just no matter in this moment.
Well, let me then bring it back to, as you're speaking, let me bring it back to the photograph. So in the photo,
Mhm.
the walls are all yellow. So is this office in Ukraine, or is it,
Right.
yeah, this is your shop?
It's one of the first offices in Ukraine, and
Ah, okay.
we changed like lots of locations, but this is just an apartment we rented, and this is very small.
Okay.
And just again to continue a conversation, the guy you see in the middle, in the
Hmm.
t-shirt, in the shirt, like he is actually. There was a period I had this animator. He is from Afghanistan, and at that moment he was fleeing from Afghanistan to Ukraine. Yeah, he was a very quite unusual like person. I mean, it's like all
Hmm.
the other people here are Ukrainians, like normal Ukrainians born in Ukraine, but this guy is
Right.
from Afghanistan. He told us stories. He was very person with very unique experience, and he told us what happened in Afghanistan, and it was terrible as well.
Wow. So the animation that, so obviously, the you're an entrepreneur, so business owner. So you started this studio with your friends, yeah, and then you're making 2D animation or 3D animation or anything.
We specialize on 2D animation, and I would say it's commercial 2D animation, which is normally called explainer videos, which are
Okay,
like advertisement videos for IT companies, startups, and technological companies, like websites and so on.
got it.
So it's mostly 2D animation with characters or infographics.
Nice. Okay, okay. And then your clients, you said, were mostly in the U.S.
I would say it's like more than half of them are in the US,
Mm-hmm.
big part in the Western Europe and other countries as well, like Israel, Australia, Japan. So like just whatever country in the world
Yeah,
needs animation, we work with it.
got it. Okay. Well, okay. So what is the experience? Your studio is in Ukraine, but your body is in Miami. So or Miami.
Yeah.
However, so how are you traveling a lot? Like, how are you basic? What's your day? What's your life like then?
Well, this from one point of view, this sounds like how it can be. From the other point of view, this is very, very natural. I would say, was sitting in Kiev and working in the office, like people come into the office, like you see them every day. I could not imagine. I was trying to imagine how to work to do it, like if I go abroad and so on. I was it was hard for me. But when you do this, everything becomes like realistic and you just continue to do what you can and
Normal.
what you have to. Of course, the biggest like challenge is the time difference.
Yeah.
Still, you just have to adjust everything. But before this move, we also had to adjust all our calls with like international clients. It was just the same
Right. Right.
thing. So
Right.
you just adjust the call. People in different parts of the world, it's totally okay. Even our like staff was with the war was redistributed around different like countries and time zones, and we also had to do this. So just adjusting your time to the other people's time, like we just adjusted one for this podcast, it's like part of the more complicated reality.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's normal. I just use software that like Google Calendar allows you to do this. It's totally like normal. It's doable, and that's why.
Interesting. It's funny how there's always the sort of the intersections and kind of coincidences and the weirdness. I didn't expect that you have this 2D animation studio. I knew you were from the Ukraine, and that's been something. But okay, let's go on to the next photo. So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.